Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Tonight we have the first in the series of Chatting It Up with Char. Well excited. This is a series that basically I sit down and talk one-to-one, or in this case 1-to-3, and talk with someone who's inspiration and achieves something in a particular area. So tonight we're going to kick off with some really successful slimming worlders that have not only lost weight but they've kept it off for a long period of time. So we want their hints, their tips about mental health, how to get it in their daily lifestyle, to give you your first Chatting It Up with Char. They're three people I think the world of, so I hope you love this video. Of course, under current guidelines, we couldn't meet face to face, which is certainly what this series is about, but we are improvising and zooming this one. So I hope you love it, and I hope if you've got any concerns or questions about Slimming World or losing weight, that these hints and tips and pearls of wisdom help you on your journey to success. So up next is our three superstars and the first special guest in the series of Chatting It Up with Char. So guys, welcome to our fresh start little chat. I'm so pleased today because it's not just me on my lovely YouTube channel. I have some guests. I'm so excited. You can see the wonderful, the incredible Michelle Flynn. She has lost 4 stone, is a marathon runner, is triple diamond. Not only has she lost 4 stone, but she's kept it off for 3 whole years. And then you have the beautiful, warm-hearted Tracey. She was in the top 10 for Woman of the Year in 2017, lost over 11 stone and kept that off beautifully, and is now shiny consultant. And then we have Bill, otherwise known as Mickey. So if you do hear me calling him Mickey at any point, or him calling me Michelle, it's a thing. And Bill's lost over 15 stone. He's kept it off for now 4 years. Inspired so many other people in my groups to be successful, and is now also a consultant as well. So welcome to the team, guys, and thank you so much for doing this today. So basically, we want to really kind of help people who are sitting at home. It's obviously a really tricky time at the moment with so much going on in the world that they might be scared to tackle their weight. Some of the issues going on within themselves, basically, because it all starts there. Let's have it right. So I kind of want to take you guys back to when you first started, and what were your concerns, your worries, your fears? Tell me.
I genuinely didn't think I could do it, because my beginning was slightly different to a lot of people. I didn't have a massive body image problem, so that wasn't what I was fighting. It was because I've got polycystic ovary syndrome, and they told me that I couldn't be a mum, and I thought, well, I need to try to lose weight, because tipping the scales at just over 22 stone, I knew that I just wouldn't be able to conceive, and they also wouldn't give me any fertility help at that weight. So I knew I had to help myself first, really. But I truly believed that I would be there for a couple of months, go and see a fertility doctor and demand a baby. Actually, the reality of it was completely different, because food optimizing was just so accessible and it just fit so well into my life. Yeah. And, you know, for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I was doing something that I was good at.
So for you, a lot of people want to join because of how they feel about themselves. Yeah. But you're saying, actually, I felt quite good. I had my husband. Really, it was about the health aspects of trying to conceive.
Yeah, that was it, really. I think actually when I began, I wasn't doing it for me. And it was as I sort of got along, really, that I was doing it for me and my health, because then I started to realise that health was such a massive factor. Now, I started when I was 30 years old, and whilst I didn't have any health conditions, I look back now and I know that I was so dangerously close to, you know, diabetes, a heart problem. Any of those would have or could have presented themselves at any time.
So at your weight, do you think that they wouldn't have given you fertility treatment if you'd needed it?
I don't believe they would, no. I don't be different, but I don't think I think that they would have sat me down and asked me to go away and try to lose weight. And I didn't want to have that embarrassing conversation. I knew I was overweight. And I thought, if I have to go and have that conversation, I've got to listen to somebody say that to me, which for me then felt, whilst I was quite comfortable in my own skin, having that conversation, that would have really beat me down. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get to that point. But I seriously didn't believe that I had it in me to lose weight. I didn't think I was capable. And actually, and that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a consultant myself, was because I had an absolutely amazing consultant that believed in me. So even beginning out, it didn't matter that I didn't actually believe in myself, because she believed in me and she knew that I could. And then that's when my self-belief sort of kicked in, you know, a couple of weeks down the line.
You know, that's so powerful, isn't it? When people believe in you, when you don't even believe in yourself. Shell, I saw you nodding through a lot of that. How are you feeling approaching
I also think as well, I just think the food, you know, as a consultant, you know, 100% if you food optimize, 100% you're going to get the best weight loss. I'd love to know what your first week was, Tracey.
Pound, yeah, it was. I got my half stone award on the first 8, 9 or 10.
But I think as a consultant, you know that as well. So when a member comes and they're not entirely confident, we're so confident in the plan that we can say 100%, if you do this, you're going to nail it. And when you get that result, like you said, within a couple of weeks, you're thinking, oh my word, I'm eating loads, the food's fab, I can do this. And that's what I love about the plan and being a consultant, is that I know anyone that walks through those doors can get to target following food optimizing. And you know, unless you know the plan like we know the plan, you know, as a new member, that's what's nerve-wracking, isn't it? Like, I don't know if this is going to work for me, but for us, we know it works.
We're part. And recently there was some research to show that if you have a fabulous first week and get a really good weight loss like Tracey did, you're much more likely to get to target. I think it would be worthwhile bringing up Mickey in at this point, because sit down after you stepped on the scales on your first week. What was your first week weight loss, Phil?
16.
Oh, 16 pounds in his
I just want to start clapping. It's ingrained in us.
I know, right? We want to go. We're talking about this research at the moment because we really want our members to kind of go for it. Take us back to that first night, Monday night, when you just gave it everything for 7 days and you saw that. Like, how did it feel? And, you know, how did you approach that first week to kind of see that?
I've done what you said from the new members talk. You gave your talk and you told me to go away and read the book, a food optimizing book. And I did that night when I got home. I was still very, I ain't going to say confused, but it all just seemed unreal for me at first.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you can have this, you can have that. Yes. And I'd done what I thought was right. I ate so much food. It was unbelievable. I didn't think about it, to be honest. Obviously, still working. I pledged that I'd be back there the following week. I remember, because you was at the weigh station, Char, and we sort of looked at each other, looked at the result, and we kept doing that, and then the penny just dropped. A big yay-ha were there. It was like brilliant. Couldn't believe it.
I know what stops a lot of members joining is that, God, I've got so much going on. Like, I knew that your weight loss was an issue and you really, really, really wanted to tackle it and kept putting it off. So what would you say to those people that know it's there and really want to do something and they keep putting it off? What would you say to them?
Personally, when you know you want to join a Slimming World group, as soon as that thought's in your head, that is the time to do it. And that's your conscious saying, you've got to do something. Get in there and get it done. Don't make excuses, because all you're going to do in impact on that, it's come to you, go for it, and you will never, ever regret it. I know I don't.
I was really wanting to have you here today is because slimmers like me who have tried before and not been successful, it's sometimes really difficult to sort of sum up the courage to say, I'm going to try again. I'm going to go for it this time. You are really open and honest with your members and say that it took a long time. You kept joining and rejoining, joining and rejoining. So first of all, what gave you the courage? And second of all, what did you do different this time, which meant that you were successful?
But for me, I first joined Slimming World probably when I was about 19. I just had my son. I was totally mortified that I was that young and needing a slimming club. So there was a lot of shame that went with that. What I will say, probably life threw a lot of curveballs. And what I got from my groups every time was like fantastic support through really difficult periods of my life. You know, I would say my Slimming World family are as important to me as any other part of my friends and family. But my weight would go back on and I'd step back and I'd disappear again. But I would just get to a point where I'd go, enough's enough. Come on, Shell. And I'm lucky enough to have a really consistent consultant that would just welcome me back with open arms and we go again. And the last time I joined in 2014, which is 6 years ago now, I promised myself I'd never give up. I just said to myself, whatever happens this time on this journey, I'm not giving up. It's being brave enough to know what works, but like you say, finding that belief in you and promising yourself you'll never give up on yourself.
Wow.
And that's quite a big step, isn't it? That you feel worth, that I was worth not giving up on. We are worth it, aren't we?
There's a couple of things in there that I want to touch on. I think that more than one person on more than one occasion has said to me, I can't believe you've just smiled at me and said I can come back. They was expecting some kind of, no, seriously, was expecting some sort of, where have you been? Why haven't you been to group? So I think that that's something really important, because I know everyone in these squares in this Zoom room right now, if they had a member that stepped away for any reason, as soon as they come back, it would be nothing but a warm welcome.
You're right, but even doing that new member talk, and I've always, because you get more so these days, I think it's rarer to have somebody come to group that's never done it.
Yes.
A majority of the people that I sit down in the new member talk with are all past members. Mm. And I've always said to them, you know, it doesn't matter what number that time is, because it only needs to be the last time, one time.
Oh,
God, I like that.
So keep that.
I'll write that one down.
That sort of faith that you had there, saying, no matter what, I will not give up. I always say, you know, we are trained within hours, you know, we have hours and hours and hours of training to pick up on things. But I would also encourage a member that if we don't say, I need some help with this, it's doing me head in, I'm really struggling, I need some help with this. And that way, that kind of whole process of never giving up on yourself becomes that bit easier, because you always know, when I'm buzzing, I go to group for my little plug-in, my little shot in the arm. When I'm not doing so well, I really get the help and support that I need. So yes, we are trained to pick it up, and hopefully we will. But in those rare occasions where we don't, I think you've got to talk up and say anyway, so that you get the help and support that you need, so that you don't get to give up on yourself. So I really love that, Shell. Thank you. And now that you're all bona fide target members with solid Onyx badges, do you want to talk about some of the benefits, and not just obviously the obvious ones like looking so different, but, you know, the whole holistic benefit of having lost the weight that you have?
I think, you know, exercise was always a massive one, because I just didn't do it before. I just physically could not. I, on one occasion years ago, wore a pair of heels out for a meal. It wasn't a night out, it was a meal. And I made it down the drive into my friend's car before I took them off. And, you know, back then I couldn't even run a bath. But I find that now, because I'm more active and now I do more, that just that euphoric feeling afterwards, you know, it's really mood lifting, just to be more active and to do things. And even now, you know, I have days where I think I don't want to put my trainers on, I don't want to go out and run, but I always know how good I feel after. And that's because I physically can as well. So I do it because I can, but then the effects of it are, it's twofold really. So absolutely. You know, just being able to move more and not being restricted is a massive bonus.
So I really want to touch on what you said first of all, because we do encourage both healthy eating and moving more, which we call body magic at Slimming World, right from the get-go. But I imagine at 22 stone, that might have been intimidating. So even though, you know, the two work beautifully together, where's your starting point?
A months down the line, and actually, so I did this, my activity that I started with was jolking. You heard jolking. So it was jog walking. So
Right.
I lived about 3/4 of a mile away from where I worked at the time. And I used to walk. And then when there was no cars, I used to jog a little bit up to the next lamppost. And then if I saw a car come in, I'd walk again. So Miss doesn't have a problem with her body image, was still quite conscious of the fact that she didn't want people to see her pounding the streets.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, I joined a gym. So I'd be on the treadmill for a bit. I did some sort of other muscular activities and but it all kind of came, but it wasn't an initial thing. I was so scared to do it to begin with, so scared.
So that's a good message. So if you don't feel comfortable straight away, give yourself a little bit of time, be kind to yourself, and eventually you will get the confidence to.
And I think that sometimes is one of those misconceptions about Slimming World, is the fact that you've got to go all in straight away, and you haven't. Similarly, and I know obviously it's sort of away from, talking about the body magic, but again, when I talk to new members and we look at that list of free foods, I tell them to focus on the ones that I know that they eat and they enjoy, because it's another one of those misconceptions where people come in and they just think, I've got to change everything. And you haven't. And I think that is one of the things, and again, that's just off personal experience, as when I was a new member and I came away and I was eating things that I would normally eat, just prepared better. And I wasn't hungry either, so that was a massive thing. I thought I was going to be starving. I thought I was going to be a right miserable mare. But
it's a good point, well made, because I think people think that we're going to send them away with a lettuce leaf and some kale, don't they? So
I think they've got to jog home with it.
Yeah. So actually, when they hear, I can eat things I normally, I think that's a real kind of bonus. And now you're a bit of a medal Mary, aren't you? You love a bit of bling.
I'm a right magpie. I love a bit of bling, me.
From struggling to walk to the end of your drive, what sort of distances are you doing now with your activity?
Well, as a 10K at the moment.
Fantastic.
But in May, I will be running for Tommy's charity in the London Landmarks Half Marathon, providing it goes ahead.
Yes, I've done that.
It goes ahead. So that is my next one. And I had signed up to because the running club that I'm with, shout out to the Badass Mother Run. So I'd signed up to do a 10 mile, to get my 10 mile medal in October. But so I've still got that to aim for. So I've got lots on the horizon that I'm actually, and I think that is part of the fun for me now, is the fact that now I know I can do it, is just aiming for more things.
Goals.
It's and it's the same when you're losing your weight, isn't it? It's just aiming for that next award, and because it's just that feeling of achieving them, it's just amazing. My distances will be increasing this year, and again I got swayed into doing that bit on the offer of jelly babies. So.
And what about you, Shell? What sort of, having lost the 4 stone and kept it off for this length of time, what kind of benefits have you seen, sort of mind, body?
For me, body magic, like you say, it was never intrinsic in them early journeys.
No.
And I think that was a lot of the reason I think when you're active, you want to eat well. And when you're eating well, you feel like you want to be more active. So if something slips off, it's really hard then to manage. So for me, it's that whole, and then you follow that with, and I call it, like in my groups especially, it is all three: the image therapy, the body magic, the food optimizing, because learning to love yourself is as important for me as being active and eating well. It's the whole package. And I always say to my members, when it comes together, it's like there's an orchestra playing in you. There is no better feeling, is there? Is setting goals, achieving goals, feeling good about yourself, building your self-esteem, building your self-worth. And for me, body magic is just it was all a bit of a joke when I ran my first marathon in 2016. Why is Michelle Flynn running a marathon? That's ridiculous. We raised £10,000. I think people basically did it because they sponsored me because they thought there's no hope. If she runs it, it's worth giving a few quid to it. So, and then it just became, like you say, the medals, the goals, what do I do next? And it's just grown and grown and grown.
There was nothing in me that was driving me to do that. And it was only through actually incorporating it with my food optimizing that actually I thought, this is quite fun.
Yeah.
You know, and from there, and then last year, obviously, because we were all at home and we're still at home, look at us, you know, there was other things that I found that I really enjoy, like body combat and, you know, weights. No, I'm slinging, Joey's even got himself a little set of dumbbells, because if I'm doing it, he stands next to me and he's got his little dumbbells, and it's lovely because we do it together.
But you know what's lovely about that? I mean, I think that when the parents lead from the front, you have happy and healthy children as well. Kids learn from what you show them, not what you tell them. Mickey, I'm going to ask you to touch on more the mental health side, because I don't think people realise quite how much not feeling yourself and not having your body look like a true representation of yourself, perhaps not feeling at full health, or, you know, not looking your best, not being able to wear the clothes that you want, can impact you mentally.
You know, with mental health, it is deep within you. I mean, we all cover a lot up, no matter who we are, we do. And I was always happy, Bill, light and soul of the party. But inside, I was crying because I didn't feel complete. I didn't feel worthy of anything. You know, it was one massive front that I carried off for years. You know, I could have got an Oscar for it, because although I wanted to like me, I didn't. You know, and it was purely down to the weight. You know, everybody loved me, but I didn't. And I'm the one person that should. The day I joined, I told Charlene, you know, she said, "What made you?" And I just said I had my moment of darkness, and I was literally just sitting at home, and I was just for 5-6 seconds, I was literally engulfed in darkness, and it lifted. And it was at that point it triggered something up here, because I'd put off joining group for 2 years. I found groups, but it was, I can't because of work. I won't make it in time. Or it's too far away, or it was always something. But after that moment, I literally found Charlene's group across the road from me where I'd moved to, and I went in there on group night and just walked in. I walked in, it was, I'll give it a go. You know, I'll give it a go. My mind wasn't believing me that I could do it. So, and that sort of changed pretty quick. Thanks to Charlene and the rest in group. It was just, I think someone said earlier, you know, it's just like a warm welcome's always there, whether you're new, returning. And yes, we've all got life worries. I mean, especially now, it's very challenging times. So I've had new members come in and it's, you know, oh, I've got all this going on, I've got all this going on. And, you know, as I got, as every member gets now, you know, it's reassurance from your consultant that you will achieve. And having all that behind us really spurs us on.
Oh God, this man knows how to give me a glassy eye, I tell you that. I was up here getting emotional, Mickey, I swear.
Knowing I'm not alone. I've got me loved ones, and I've also got my Slimming World family. And we can turn to each other anytime we want.
Yeah, you know that. You know that.
Which is, you know, and as you all know, with your group, they become such a big importance for your life. You're always there for us.
So
Nobody
guys,
there for you.
For someone who's never ever experienced a Slimming World group before, and you know, let's have it right. We've been around for 51 years. We've got all that science and experience behind us. For people that think, why do it on is the benefit of having a team behind you instead of you know, just one thing or one
real people.
Yeah,
real people. If you just focused on just doing it and that's fine, because it does work for some people to do it by themselves, you know, as an online member, but it just changes everything when you realize you're not on your own on those bad weeks. And also it is so amazing when you are having those great weeks, because I genuinely didn't think anybody else would be bothered by how much I'd lost or whether I'd achieved anything, but they're just sat rooting for you, just a room full of cheerleaders. And again, like I say, when it's the other end of the scale and you're really struggling and it's hard and you can't understand what happened that week and, oh, that's awful. It's so encouraging to stay within that group rather than just walk out and go, because you know it doesn't matter which end you're at, they're just supporting you either way. And that support is just, it's vital. It's vital.
In group, you can't get from online. You can't get it off online. And, you know, if you're just in and out, you're missing so much of what we can give you at Slimming World. It is just, you have to experience it to realise how strong image therapy is. I never missed a week. Nothing was going to stop me from getting to my group, because as I called it, me time. Hour and a half a week was me time, and that me time was right at the top. That 1.5 hours in my group, no one was taking. It was that important. It's crucial for your personal journey, and that was.
I love that. But Shell, I wanted to touch on this for you. This being your times you've joined, you joined at this point a number of times. This time you've decided, I am not giving up. This is going to be my absolute final time, and I will not stop until I get there. What did the group do to support you in that decision? How did the group help you to kind of battle through that kind of, this is the last time, I will get there this time?
So, like I said, with the London Marathon, in fact, you can rewind. Let's rewind, because we started a walking club. So, you know, Body Magic wasn't part of my life. I was always working. I had 2 kids. You know, life was crazy. So what I committed to, and what Bill just summed it up, was no matter what, I'm going to meet the Slimming World walking girls twice a week. I'm going to leave my desk, and my group was on a Saturday morning. So that was always important to me. And once I'd got into the Body Magic, I'd walk to group or run to group or whatever was going on. But it was more than just my Saturday morning. These guys that I've made friends with, they're still my friends. I had buddies that I could walk with, that I would commit to going each week. I loved it. We'd go up and down the River Lee. And as I said, once the running became a bigger part of my life, they were the biggest cheerleaders. They came to watch. They were in the crowds, you know, the support on Facebook, everything that they've done for me, you can't replicate it anywhere else. Like you say, life's hard enough. But if you go into a group and you've got 20 people cheering for you, like, where are you going to get that anywhere else in life?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, Tracey, you summed it up, isn't it? Like, I get goosebumps in group. I got goosebumps in group when I wasn't a consultant, when I saw my fellow members achieve, or my friends. And, you know, Bill, I've been in group when you've achieved. There is no better feeling than watching someone else be successful.
Everybody just, it's very rare to get an environment where everybody in the room wants everybody in the room to do well, and that's what Slimming World Group is like.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And then they pick you up when you're not. So I was always the joker in the group. Like, it don't matter, do you know what I mean? Or I bounce it off or whatever else like that. But there'd be times I'd have a cry in the kitchen and someone would come and touch my arm and go, come on, Shell, let's get you. Do you know what I mean? It's like you say, Bill, you wear a mask, I think, when you carry weight, no matter how outgoing you are, deep down inside, you're kind of thinking, this isn't how I want to be. And when that emotion would hit, and it wasn't often for me, because I'm not that, you know, there was always someone to be kind to me. And sometimes you don't get that in the real world, not when it's around your weight issues. Your friends, your family are lovely, but I don't think anyone quite understands it like another slimmer.